Deep in the rural heartland of Madhya Pradesh lies the district of Jhabua. This remote tribal area gives the perfect impression of rural India. Rolling hills, punctuated by patches of green and idyllic rural life, is what one sees on the surface. However, scratch the surface and dig a little deeper, and the horrors of an undeveloped rural India comes alive. Jhabua, inhabited by the Bhil tribe, is also one of the most arid regions in Madhya Pradesh and the country. Even though Jhabua receives adequate rainfall during the monsoon season, due to the brittleness of the rocks and the topsoil, not much water is absorbed within the soil. This peculiar geological property, combined with dated and inefficient water management practices, has resulted in extreme water scarcity in the region. The indigenous population that inhabits this tough land are the Bhils, a proud tribe who have lived here for centuries. These tribes survived at subsistence levels through shifting cultivation and other primitive means of earning livelihood.
कोई ऐसे मजदूरी नहीं थी, खाने का अनाज नहीं था और नहाने का पानी नहीं था, कोई तालाब नहीं था, कोई स्टॉप डैम नहीं था.
Over a period of time, due to reasons both historical and cultural, they have become economically and socially marginalized. The water scarcity, along with poor agricultural yield, offered little livelihood opportunities to the inhabitants, which often resulted in distress migration and at times even deep penury due to the unfortunate habit of taking loans with high interest rates. The problems faced by the Bhils were aggravated by the fact that they had very little exposure to the outside world and were inherently distrustful of non-locals. In this grim situation, which was threatening the very identity and existence of the Bhils, GAIL decided to intervene and turn things around. GAIL has been present in this area since its gas compressor station was commissioned in 1988. Since the very beginning, they have been providing help and livelihood to the Bhils by carrying out routine CSR activities under the then mandated tribal sub-plan. However, it was soon realized that the problems needed to be addressed at a much deeper level and required a more dedicated and comprehensive approach.
At GAIL, we have always been following a people-centric and sustainable work philosophy, which has been the main driving force for the GAIL's various community initiatives.
Keeping in mind this overriding philosophy, a comprehensive roadmap was drawn up by GAIL and its implementing partner, the community-friendly movement. The initiative planned was a participative, multi-stakeholder, holistic development model. This was born by the idea of Anhat Gram, a holistic development model. Anhat Gram was a multi-pronged approach where livelihood issues were addressed through initiatives in agriculture and animal husbandry. By providing the villagers with skill-based training, better technology, and market access for local produce. This would not only promote livelihood through innovative ways of practicing agriculture or animal husbandry, but would also encourage the entrepreneurial spirit. Once the project was successfully implemented and bore results, it would then pave the way for Jaldhar, an integrated and participative watershed initiative to address the main problem of water scarcity and its resultant management.
खाद कौन से डालते हो?
तभी कोई गोबर डाल रहे हैं हम लोग।
गोबर खाद।
As agriculture was the prime means of livelihood, innovative and profitable methods were taught to the farmers to change the way they practiced it.
वो जैसा गोबर रहता है वैसे का वैसा धूप लगने से उसके जो भी गुणवत्ता रहती है वो सारी खत्म हो जाती है।
The first initiative was to transform the long-term harmful agrarian practice of chemical farming to that of organic farming. This would help the farmer manifold. The first benefit of organic farming would be in reducing the investments the farmer made in buying fertilizers such as urea. The organic manure would also make the land more fertile, which would give higher yields. This fertile land would also have the scope for intercropping as well as more crop rotation. Now farmers would be able to grow up to 4 different crops in a year. An added benefit would be the profit earned by the selling of the organic crops, which have a high demand in urban centers. And lastly, the added income would be cut down on loans, which because of high interest rates that are charged by non-organized money lenders are a continuous problem and one which the farmers find difficult to get out of. The farmers were taught how to farm on a completely organic scale.
ये कच्चा गोबर आपने डाला है, आते हो नीचे कम से कम इसको ढक दो, जमीन के नीचे ढक।
This included them being taught on how to both make and use vermin compost as well as vermin wash.
पत्थर दिया गया है, अलग-अलग साइज का। उसके ऊपर जो है सो आप रख देते हो ये गोबर और कचरा मिला के। वर्मी कंपोस्ट को घुलाते हुए नीचे जाएगा, यहाँ से ये छनेगा 2 लेयर 3 लेयर और यहाँ पर जो है सो ये आके फाइनली कलेक्ट हो।
Both vermin compost and vermin wash usage is highly encouraged by agricultural scientists because of them being a low-cost substitute to chemical fertilizers, as well as them helping the fertility of the soil to improve in the long run. In fact, the participating farmers found that it increased the yield of their lands by more than 4-fold. To increase the resources of cow dung, an essential component of manure, farmers were taught how to replace it as a domestic fuel with the unique briquettes. These briquettes were made from agro waste, and because it was a better substitute to cow dung as a domestic fuel, it also became an alternative source of revenue, as there was a high demand for it. And one person who is an exceptional example of somebody who has thrived on the manufacture of briquettes is a Bhil farmer called Ditta. Through his involvement in a community self-help group started by GAIL, Ditta was able to learn about organic farming and briquette making. For Ditta, the making of briquettes not only freed up precious manure, but also led him to earn more. Ditta now is able to earn extra money by selling these briquettes to many customers, some of them whom even come from Jhabua town. To solve the nutritional imbalance prevalent in the Bhil community because of their traditional diet of mainly maize and pulses, fruit trees were planted in the fields of the participating farmers. As a further step towards correcting the nutritional deficiencies, the farmers were even helped in setting up kitchen gardens with easy-to-grow vegetables like brinjals and radishes. Initially meant for domestic consumption, the large quantities of produce from these orchards and kitchen gardens soon turned into an alternate and extra source of income. Initiatives in agriculture were just the first steps in transforming the lives of the Bhils in Jhabua. Soon they would be introduced to better practices in animal husbandry and water management, which would ultimately alter their lives forever.